Cheerio and tally-ho, no DQ Galaxy. It is I, the General, Jerry Slaughter. With me as always is Stefan, the Wizard of No DQ Osborne. And this is our second NXTea Party, covering the October 24th edition of NXT UK.
Yes.
And great matches. We had four matches.
Yeah, believe it or not,
tonight, and
4 matches, a lengthy promo, a whole bunch of video packages. Again, packages for everybody.
A lot gets covered in an hour. Like, whereas we had the NXT show, and like that was more promo laden than anything else this past week. We have more people we haven't seen yet, or ones that are making their debut actually in NXT that we haven't seen over there yet.
Yeah.
So it was a good show. So it started off with Ligero, who during the opening credits even, I saw him, and it was pretty much a luchador type character with the Union Jack face mask, and then you have him facing against the Wild Boar, Mike Hitchman.
Yeah, the Wild Boar. He looks like a UK or a British ripoff of Rhino.
Oh, he's dead up. Pretty much, like, he's one of those characters where he comes out in this really cool outfit that's got the spikes, he almost looks like sort of weird Stegosaurus, not really a wild boar, but he's got the wild boar mask. He takes it off. And he's got these snaggle teeth, and
he's got missing teeth.
Oh yes.
He's got a whole row of missing teeth up front.
Yeah,
and they have a story for this. They and I don't know if it's a true story or not. You know, figure that out for yourself. But apparently he was in a bar, got in a bar fight with 4 guys because they were getting in a fight, and he was trying to break it up, and apparently all 4 of them turned on him, and he refused to give up the fight, and they knocked out like all 4 of his front teeth, and I call bullshit. That sounds like a bullshit story to me. Sounds like maybe he was doing something regular, tripped and fell and knocked out all his teeth and couldn't swallow them, or I don't know.
Yeah.
It sounds like a bullshit story you make up for a guy that's missing a bunch of teeth.
Yep. So we have Ligero, who's pretty much like a British luchador. I'm gonna try to coin a phrase for this because I see so many of these British guys doing these Hurricane Ranas and all the flippy, spinny shit, right, as Aussie man would call it. So I need to come up with a different term for a British luchador, which I'm going to do soon. But
I thought you had one in mind. I was on the edge of my seat in anticipation. I
have to come up with one.
Okay,
but
well, maybe by the end of the episode you'll have a name for it.
Possibly
Get some inspiration going.
But the match,
yeah, there we go.
The match for what was pretty decent. Like, not a lot of big spots in it, but you had a Hurricane Rana really early in from Ligero, and he's been wrestling seemingly for 17 years, which they make mention of 4, maybe 5 times in the entire match.
You know, for a British luchador, he is a big guy.
Yeah,
he is tall, and he's not lanky tall. He's pretty built. He's about a medium build.
Yeah,
but he's well built.
Yes,
very lean. And
Hitchman's got that whole Taz thing going. He's very, like, not really stout, but he's just
he's shorter and he's stacked.
He's got that low center of gravity.
He's like a stack of quarters, man. You know, like, well, their looks are just so different. Like, because you would think that as a luchador or a masked wrestler that what's his name, Ligero, would be smaller, but no, he's actually the bigger guy, and he does fly around much like a luchador, and I don't know, their looks are so different, but their match styles are also very different.
Yes. You had him trying to pull off a whole bunch of different power moves, whereas you had Ligero trying to focus more on his speed, and he had a lot of kicks too. I'm noticing a lot of kicks in the UK, but at the same time, it was great match.
It was a really good match.
There was a great, very crisp exploder out of the corner from Hitchman.
Well, it was right after he hits this running shoulder block, which was like, and what made me think of Rhino earlier is he equated it to a gore, but the opponent's already in the corner.
Yeah, the shoulder was driven in just fiercely. Like every now and then you'll see these spears and they look really weak. This was full torque, and he just buried himself into Ligero in that corner, and it was a very tight shot, and then that followed into the nice exploder right out of the corner. So
a release exploder, and it wasn't your typical exploder because of the way that he had it held, but it was great near fall. There were so many near falls for Hitchman in this match,
yes,
and to a point to where I commented, I'm like, this Ligero has got phenomenal resiliency.
Yes.
He is apparently going to be built up as one of those that kicks out of fucking anything. And he looked great, though. The times where he was in on top of the match, like his lucha skills, they are not of his size.
No.
To put it simply, I mean, there was a couple of spots that he did that were just phenomenal, but mostly it was back and forth.
Well, that's what I really liked about this match. It could have gone either way, because you had the strong style coming from Hitchman, and then you had the speed and the quickness and the lucha libre type styles from Ligero, but ends the match with a springboard tornado DDT.
Yeah, all of a sudden the match was over.
Yeah,
I kind of looked up and I was like, "Wait, what happened?" Backed it up.
He blinked and it was over. It was done.
It was a nice. It wasn't picture perfect or anything, but it was nice. It was a springboard like Cesaro would do off the middle rope, turning around, coming back into a tornado DDT. And to me, it didn't look like a finisher, but it was impressive looking.
It definitely looked like more of a setup move for maybe something off
the top rope. For him, yeah, absolutely. But I'm also concerned about the moves that he could or couldn't do because of these giant horns coming off the back of his completely plastered Union Jack mask. This guy's got Union Jack everywhere. They commented who the crowd was behind. I'm like, of course the crowd's behind this motherfucker. He looked like somebody Union jacked off on him. Right? And they're not behind Hitchman, because Hitchman looks like the guy that should be wearing a mask.
Yes.
He is scary. He's got those blackout contacts that make his iris look huge.
I couldn't even take that seriously at all. You look like you just left the optometrist office after getting dilated.
Yeah, you look like you just ate a slap shot, man. Like it was. I mean, it was comical, I guess. It was a good match, though,
it was a solid opener, is what it was. It got the crowd pumped, and like it showed off two guys that are no doubt going to be doing a lot more in that company, hopefully. So,
well, honestly, I thought this was going to be a match where Hitchman was looking like I thought it was going to be an enhancement talent match.
Yeah,
I thought that Ligero was the enhancement talent because
I
believe
thought
they had
a
brief video package of Mike Hitchman beforehand.
Yeah,
I'm not positive, but I think they did. Anyway, it looked like it was going to be Hitchman getting fed somebody, and instead, it was a good back and forth match. Both guys looked good. Hitchman just happened to lose.
Yep.
Because Ligero has got some serious resiliency.
Yes.
Kicks out of fucking everything.
All right.
So we go from this into surprise. What a video package.
Mm-hmm.
But not just any video package. For some reason, a video package for the match coming up next.
Yeah.
And it's not like a video package and the match is coming up next, but then there's an interview and then there's another video package and then there's a match. No, this is literally right before the match. So I don't know what the purpose of this was. We could have just gone into the match. I could have saved a line in my notes and
yeah,
highlighted another move instead to try to keep this under a page. This was a fucking killer match.
Yes.
We got to see Dakota Kai versus Killer Kelly. Note the word killer. But they noted that she was the first ever WXW Women's Champion. And I have no idea about that. But he knows what WXW is.
World Extreme Wrestling, like really prominent in Germany, is what it is, and those guys over there don't play. And then there's also Women's Extreme Wrestling, which I think they also have been talking about. Either one, but like both those federations, they're more notoriously known for their hardcore matches. Think about ECW, the original ECW gone to Europe. That's what you had in those two companies. Is you had the hardcore stuff going on, but then you also had some of the most technical and just great submission wrestlers, and it was just
because it's still truly indie.
Yes.
So you gotta show that indie style.
Absolutely.
And for once, this is a match I took more notes on than any.
Oh,
because of some of these moves.
I automatically, like when I saw the little packages that they actually had, like getting together for this match, or just talking about the two competitors, I automatically said, this is going to be the one that steals the program tonight.
Yep, and he was right.
And it was definitely worth it. So much going on in that match, because you had Killer Kelly, who's got these like wear down holds and everything, and then you had Dakota Kai, who we saw a couple weeks ago on NXT television.
Right. Oh, she's been around. She started on the Mae Young Classic, the original Mae Young Classic, and she's been around since. But yeah, so I'm very familiar with Dakota Kai, and in fact, I believe Dakota Kai. No, she challenged for the NXT Women's Champion, like the pay-per-view before NXT Chicago.
Okay.
Anyway, this was a superb match. Superb match. And it wasn't necessarily similar to the match last week, the women's match that we got, that basically was to put over, what's her name? Oh, that's terrible. It put Toni Storm.
Yeah.
We had Nina Samuels and Toni Storm, and Nina Samuels looked like enhancement talent. In this one, Killer Kelly looked like a badass.
Oh yeah, she did. The second she came out to the ring, like straight out of Portugal, and she was just rough and ready to fight, and it could have gone either. Like that's another thing. This match could have gone either way as well.
Yeah, for sure, could have gone either way. I honestly thought that for some reason they were feeding Dakota Kai to Killer Kelly to build up Killer Kelly.
Yeah, but that ended up not being the case. We saw what I believe is one of the greatest submissions or possible submissions in the surfboard dragon sleeper out of Killer Kelly.
Yeah,
that thing just looked beautiful. It was in the middle of the ring. I'm like, this is.
Previously, I thought one of the most brutal submissions was the is it grapevine or no the dragon sleeper into a wrapping up the body with your legs, because to me that looks like something that would cut off everything and would completely put you to sleep very quickly. Not only be it just being in an incredible amount of pain until you were put to sleep, but she took it to a whole nother level.
Locking the legs in so you couldn't scoot or anything,
or
even
that
remotely
surfboard.
try to get to the ring.
Plus, once she bends back with the dragon sleeper off that surfboard, it's a way different angle.
Yeah,
and it just looks so much more painful. And from there, this match just went. That's where it started, and it went from there, and it was a great match. We saw a basement drop kick.
Yes, I was going to go
Kai.
right into that basement drop kick from Killer Kelly.
Yeah, she signals to the crowd, cheers from the corner, and she takes off running to Dakota Kai, who's laid up in the corner on the second, well, probably on the bottom turnbuckle.
Oh, she was. And the crazy thing about this is she took so much time in setting this up that for a little bit there, I'm thinking, okay, she's totally going to miss this.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought Dakota Kai was going to slide out of the way, but no. She hits this dropkick full force, and it looked brutal as hell. And that's the only other thing I have notes on. From here, Dakota Kai takes over. She ends up doing her two paintbrushes, or kicks to the face
I'm noticing a lot of those in the company so
corner.
far.
He said those look like her finisher when she runs from corner to corner, but she runs around the ring and comes and paint washes Killer Kelly while she's standing, and then Kelly falls into the corner. You know, she's propped up, and then she does the paint wash again. I think that should be the finisher, but it is a little too similar to Sami Zayn, so I understand them not really going with it. And she hits her actual finish, which was the sloppiest looking thing that I saw tonight. And if we were rating this match for the show, this would bring the match down at least a half a star, if not a star for me.
Yeah.
Because this finishing move that she calls the Kai de Gras.
Yes.
Which is a little too similar to the coup de grace, but whatever.
Yeah.
The Kai de Gras. They call it a code red. She comes off the ropes, and she does what's ostensibly what you would do to...
Almost like a sunset flip.
Yeah, kind of like that, where she keeps her knees on the back, and then flips the opponent around for a inverted backstabber.
Yeah.
And it is great in theory. It was not executed very well. In fact, the way that they edited the footage of her hitting it, it looks like either they cut out a split second of where it looks fucked up so that they could cut the camera and put it in an angle that looks better, or they had to do it twice in the same spot and just edit a whole bunch of stuff out of the middle of this match.
I'm honestly thinking they refilmed it because the crowd didn't really seem that into the finish at all.
Well, they're not above this. They used to do this for SmackDown when SmackDown was taped on Tuesday and aired on, Thursday, Friday, whatever.
Oh, yeah. The couple of SmackDown live shows I've gone to, that's what they've done, is if something messes up, they redo it right in the ring, right then and there. It's not like one of those things you take anywhere else and go, edit it, or it's like okay, let's go back to WWE studios and get this all worked out. But no, they have to redo it right in the ring, which is gotta be aggravating, but at the same time, it's gonna happen. So,
well, from what I've learned, what we're watching of NXT UK was taped probably weeks or months ago, and there's so many episodes backlogged that everything's going to be not even pre-taped. It's going to be old. Everything's going to be old up until a certain point when we catch up and they start recording stuff either live or the night of or whatever. But for now, it's new to us.
Yep.
And we don't get any commercials with NXT UK. What we get are more video packages. Video packages for you. Video packages for you. This was a video package for a recap of the NXT UK event that they had back in June, where they showed Zach Gibson winning a match with his finisher, which is it's an armbar kind of behind the back. Armbar. That's what you should plug. You should plug your Facebook group. Armbar. There you go. So we get a video cap of Zach Gibson winning that match, so that we could get a promo by Zach Gibson in the ring in just a minute. But before that, we get another video package. Only this one's more, it's more cinema style. Yeah. And it ties into last week. It was something that we didn't actually mention in last week's NXT UK NXTea Party.
It seemed passable.
Yeah, it seemed like something that wasn't actually going to mean anything for the program when we watched it. But it was this guy, I didn't even have his name down last time, Eddie Dennis.
Yeah, Eddie Dennis.
And he's, I guess, a guy that started learning wrestling with Pete Dunne and your man,
Mark Andrews.
Mandrews.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about his relationship with them. We didn't think it seemed all that consequential.
But he is making it so. This guy has a massive chip on his shoulder.
This was a different kind of promo.
Whereas those two went on to, become successful wrestlers and whatnot, he went into the teaching field. He became a principal at a highly
prestigious private school.
Yes. and he's
they
watching.
showed him in his suit and looking all
and he's
important.
and he's watching his two friends like get all the success that he believes he should have had with them, or living out his dream.
Well, the key to this is that Mark Andrews and Pete Dunne got to compete in the WWE UK tournament.
Yes.
And he did not. And in this case, we fast forward to this point, and Pete Dunne is the champion.
Yes.
And he is not. He has not even made his debut. But these promos, or these video packages, or whatever you want to call them, are telling us that he is soon going to make an impact in NXT UK. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of hoping that this is something that they have added now to old footage, and we're not going to see him for several weeks or several months until we finally get to newly recorded shows, wherever they happen to be. This show happened to still be, surprise, surprise, in the Corn Exchange.
Yes.
But again, we knew that there was no way they only recorded an hour of TV for these fans. These fans came to see 2 hours at least.
Yeah.
So our next show next week might still be in the Corn Exchange. I'm willing to bet, though, eventually there will be a different venue.
Well, they've already showed that they're going to be in Liverpool, I think, at the end of this week.
Well,
so.
Yeah, but those are for live shows now. Those aren't for TV tapings, probably.
Yeah.
And if they are, those aren't going to air forever.
Yeah. But this guy, Eddie Dennis, I want to see this be a slow simmer, slow build going into, like, his debut anyway, because it seems like week by week he becomes more bitter. Because that first week it seemed like he was kind of nostalgic. He's like, you know, these were my two buddies. I used to wrestle with them. But this week it's like, those bastards.
I'm just hoping he's good.
Oh, that too.
From what we saw of Mark Andrews in the opening match last week, he seems pretty good. I'm not completely sold on him because I don't really know what he can do on a mic. So far with these two promos, though, for this Eddie guy, he's going to be a good talker, but I'm hoping that he's good in the ring because Pete Dunne is fucking incredible.
Well, I think it's going to be... I think you're going to have Mark Andrews, who's more or less the aerialist. I think you're going to have Pete, who's pretty much ground and pound submission, mostly for most part, because that's what we read.
Yeah, Pete Dunne does everything. He does freaking everything.
But his is more about, like, small point, like, submission holds and stuff like that. Pretty much just making every last body part
short arm clotheslines that make you cringe.
Yes. I'm thinking this other guy is going to be almost like the mat wrestler type, possibly even the
more technical.
You never really know.
Technical wrestler. He doesn't look like a powerhouse, but then again, we really only mostly saw him in older pictures and with his suit on.
Yeah.
So who knows there? But what do we have? Another video package? Probably. No. This is where we actually get Zach Gibson coming to the ring for the longest promo I have ever fucking had to sit through. For two reasons, but go ahead.
But yeah, okay, first off, like, we're going to go with reason number one here. He is roundly booed. I'm not talking like Roman Reigns booed, like, you know, a section of the crowd over here, couple peppering of people here. No, this guy was booed. This
was Elias after he made fun of the Supersonics leaving and becoming the Thunder. Like,
yes.
Yeah, this is Seattle getting pissed because 10 years ago they lost their basketball team. Booed. He was booed from the beginning to the end of his promo. They booed him because of who he is. That's the best way I can put it. Like, I feel like if he got cancer and came out to that crowd and said, I've got fucking lymphoma or some shit, they'd be like, good, you bastard. And boo!
Yeah, it was like...
Or they'd keep booing, but they'd boo the lymphoma.
Yeah,
you know, they just love to boo this guy.
It was a complete, like, opposite of everything that was the Roman Reigns segment.
At one point, he tells the bike controller or audio guy, turn up the bike. Orders him to, I don't think he did. I don't think they could have gotten the mic any louder anyway.
And
but
for some reason they took off their shoes or were singing a song at him, and it was just bananas. But secondly, he spoke very, very slowly to the point where every word seemed like a sentence.
What was its own sentence?
It's like, I am number one.
Yeah, he's the number one from Liverpool, but he's soon to be everything's number one.
Number one for the world.
He danced around saying that he's soon to be the UK champ because he's not in that feud, but he's going to be the NXT UK's number one.
But so naturally, he launches into who got the shot this last time at the UK Championship.
Well, he made a valid point. He did the UK Championship tournament and won it all in one night, and then had to go to fight for the title the next night. He says unprepared and having gone through 3 matches the previous night.
Yeah.
He says, a fresh me could defeat Pete Dunne any night, anywhere. And I'm willing to believe him.
Yeah.
Because the crowd hates him. If the crowd is booing him like that, he must be really he must be really good. Mm-hmm. So I'm willing to believe him, and I'm after this promo, I'm looking forward to that match.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes. But you're right. He goes into, naturally, who's the next best guy?
Noam Dar.
The last guy that got the title shot.
Yep. Pretty much ripped into Noam Dar for the next, I don't know how long.
As if Noam Dar didn't put on a great match last week. He rips into him for his poses. I mean, he rips into him for everything. But of course, at this point, we're like, okay, he's not talking about the champion anymore. So the first words out of his mouth, Noam Dar's coming out, isn't he? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, because this is still the same night that we saw him do the match. So is he going to have a match? Because I had already thought that this Zach Gibson guy was coming out for a match. But he's like, oh no, they said he's coming out because he's got some things to say. And I'm like, well, fuck. I never pay attention during those flash screen promos to what's next. I just need to read better.
But naturally that brings out Noam Dar. And
he does come out.
Noam Dar points to the ring. He's like, okay, I'm ready to come out there.
Yeah.
Starts taking off his shirt. Still has those stupid universe pants on. Ready to go
but he
out
looks
fight.
fresh. He looks like he toweled down and he didn't just have a match 27 minutes ago.
Yep. And that brings out the general manager.
Brings out the general manager. And I always forget his name.
Johnny
Saint. His name. There we go. Johnny Saint. Johnny Saint comes out. And at first I thought he was going to make the match.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, fuck, really, Noam Dar went through a hell of a match not long ago for this actual taping. And surely they're not. And no, actually, what did he do?
He called him back to the principal's office. He's like, you two, back in my office right now. And automatically Zach Gibson's face turns to that almost like kid who gets his hand stuck in a cookie jar.
Yeah, he looks like he's been scolded. Like, that's the kind... Immediately that shows you the kind of respect that these guys have and that you should have for the GM of the show. For Johnny Saint.
Yes.
Because the heel of heels that's out there getting booed unanimously throughout his entire spiel by the crowd, who's just this looks like this badass, sounds like this badass, he gets scolded, and he's literally like this on his way to the back until Johnny Ace is behind the curtain, and then he's like, oh, yeah.
Oh, Johnny Saint.
Or, sorry, Johnny Saint.
It's like he is not John Laurinaitis.
I apologize to Johnny Saint for that.
Yes.
Not that he would watch this, but, you never know. I do apologize.
So where Johnny Saint's like, you better.
So this brings on another video package. Everybody gets a video package. But actually, I make fun, but most of these video packages are done very well.
Yeah.
This one is for Ashton Smith. And he's wrestling next, so it's a short package. Yeah, it's a short package, but next we're supposed to see him. But of course, when you get a video package for a guy wrestling next, it means he's not wrestling, quote-unquote, next. It means we have a commercial break with an interview.
Yeah.
An interview with Travis Banks, who could have a better last name. Makes me think of Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
But he does have a cool nickname. the Kiwi Buzzsaw.
That's something that was actually pretty cool. So yeah.
And he talks about, I guess he's setting up a feud with one or both of the Coffey brothers that we talked about last week. It was Mark Coffey and his brother Joe.
Yep.
Mark and Joe Coffey. They were in the opening match with Mandrews when he got saved by another guy. Who was the other guy? Had 3 names. Let's back up the notes here.
Yep.
He was saved by
Flash Gordon Webster.
There you go, Flash Gordon Webster
with the helmet.
That brings me to a point, just not to get too sidetracked, but I really hope that after a couple of weeks, a couple of months of watching NXT UK and actually seeing some of these characters multiple times, that we will actually get used to their names and know them without having to look at our notes. So I apologize. Occasionally I have to glance down here at my notes for names for people.
There's so many different new talent that come in there and everything, and there's only so much show, so you'll see these people like maybe once every month, it seems like.
Yeah, just about.
So they get almost put outside out of mind, then you're over like, that guy. That kind of like you were with Matt Riddle.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago on one of our What's NXT episodes, neither one of us could remember the name of Matt Riddle. Thanks to the guy in the comments section that reminded me of the name. Unfortunately, it's too late by that point. But either way, this was an interview. It was an interview. He was basically setting up a feud with these guys because I guess they attacked him at the show that they did in the Royal Albert Hall.
Yep.
And it is what it is. And so next,
so I'm guessing that's going to be probably set up relatively soon. Then too is a tag match between.
Well, I don't know. I thought it was going to end up being a tag match between Mandrews or between them, the Coffey brothers, and Mandrews and the guy with 3 names, Flash Morgan Webster. There it is.
Yeah.
But maybe the Coffey brothers will find a third person and it'll end up being a 6-man tag, or who knows? We'll see where it goes. So far, hey, even if there is multiple people feuding with multiple people at the same time, that is a good thing.
That gives many people as exposed as possible at this point. And
gives them multiple things to do.
Yeah.
You don't have to do the same match every week. Raw, SmackDown. You know.
You really need to get that cough checked out.
Cough, cough. I said Raw. Cough, cough. I said SmackDown. Because they tend to do the same fucking matches every fucking week.
Yes.
All these 6-man tags, 6-woman tags. Anyway. So next we actually got the match with the previously mentioned Ashton Smith.
Versus Tucker.
Yeah, Tucker. That's it. No first name. Maybe it's his last name. It is his only name. He's like Cher or Bono. He is Tucker. And he looked good.
His name appeared twice on the Titan Draw, so is his name Tucker? No.
He looked good. He looked like a well built guy, and then they said he was 130 pounds. I'm like, what? I was like, shit, he must be like 5'7", because I haven't been 130 pounds since I was like 13.
Yeah, he had like a good build to him and everything, but the fact that he's only 130 pounds, you have to wonder how tiny the guy actually is.
Yeah, Ashton Smith wasn't too much bigger, but based on the video package being for him, I figured he was going to win. And he did with his move that he calls the Ash Cloud, which they called a Ripcord DDT. It's kind of like an inverted, what is it that Cody Rhodes does? Cody Rhodes' finishing move.
Crossroads.
Yeah, the Crossroads. It's like an inverted Crossroads into a falling DDT. It kind of looked a little botched, but I'm hoping I get to see him a few more times do that move, and maybe it's supposed to look better. It didn't look so great.
It's one of those things where, as weird as it sounds, like a 10 or 15-second video package actually looked better than the actual match. Like it had me hyped for him, but at the same time, I won't say the match was a letdown, but at the same time, there wasn't really
nothing noteworthy.
Nothing
it was a good match. It was very middle of the road. It actually made both guys look about as good. Just Ashton's, like, it didn't make. I don't know how to put it. It didn't look like a jobber match because Tucker didn't look like a jobber. It looked like both of them were jobbers.
That's the thing. It's like somebody was going to come out of that match with a victory, and that's going to be who they're going to push.
This was the lower card.
Mm-hmm.
It's not two jobbers. It's just two lower card guys versus each other. So the match was meh. It was a C.
Weirdly enough, I think maybe naturally Dakota Kai and Killer Kelly actually ranked over this match regardless.
Oh, easily.
But at the same time, I think maybe the match order should have changed a little bit and had this be a second match, possibly.
No, I think it was good because Dakota Kai and Killer Kelly was so much better of a match. This was kind of like the wind down match before the main event. That was actually a pretty damn good match.
Oh yeah. So next we have Danny Burch.
Yeah, but not Danny Burch in person. Just another video package. Everybody gets a video package. Everybody but us, because I don't want to do all that fucking editing. It's bad enough having to cut these videos off at 42 or 43 minutes before my phone does it, and we end up like it looks really bad. So I try to do it the best I can, but I don't think I'm gonna be doing any video packages.
Pretty much a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah, just me screwing it up and having to start all over again. It was a good video package for Danny Burch, and of course we've seen him with Oni Lorcan in NXT, and before that versus each other apparently a lot. Mm-hmm. But we get to see him debut on NXT UK next week. It's debut.
Yeah,
he gets to debut next week, as he likes to say.
Debut. But that's the thing, though. That's going to be him in singles competition. So it's going to be interesting to see, since now he's more like in the whole tag team dynamic, but going back to singles matches again, and especially in his homeland this time around.
Well, I think it's going to depend on who he versus. Is this going to be an enhancement match, or is this going to be a showcase match? Where
I think it'll be an enhancement match.
Yeah, because while they're in the process of announcing this for next week, we'll go ahead and I think they showed a tweet from Johnny the GM.
Yep.
We're also next week going to have a match between, hey, who'd have guessed, Zach Gibson versus Noam Dar.
You think they would have saved it for a couple of weeks? No, they're going to go ahead and get this. They're going to go ahead and knock it out this next week.
And I've already got Zach Gibson underlined as if I know he's going to win that match next week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure somebody already knows. There's spoilers out there somewhere. But my feeling is that it's going to be Pete Dunne versus Zach Gibson next for the UK Championship. And by Zach Gibson beating Noam Dar, that shows that he is a worthy contender and has reason to perhaps challenge for the title. But this leads us into our main event for the evening.
Yep.
An actual match.
Wolfgang versus Tyler Bate.
And this was a showcase match. Both of these guys look great. Neither one of them looked like jobbers or enhancement talent. It looked like it could have been either fucking guy.
Yeah.
They did make mention of the fact that Tyler Bate has beaten Wolfgang before. He beat him at during last year's or the year before's UK tournament. Mm-hmm. It was either for the title or for the chance to vie for the title. I think it was the one for the title. Either way, Tyler Bate does have a win over Wolfgang.
And that actually played heavily into it because they telegraphed each other's moves pretty well throughout the entire match. And whereas you had Tyler impressed me. I had never actually seen Tyler wrestle. So it's one of these things where I hadn't seen him in Mustache Mountain. I hadn't seen him.
Okay, that was going to be my question.
Yeah, like I hadn't seen him wrestle. So to actually get to watch him in a singles competition, since I think the first WWE first
NXT
UK champion. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
First one.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Yeah, and I could actually see where they were coming from because he's solid on the mat. He's got a couple submission holds here, and surprisingly strong for a guy that looked, his size, because he actually nails Wolfgang with a very impressive airplane spin really late in the match. Like, these guys have been, back and forth almost this entire time, and he just picks up Wolfgang like he's nothing and just circles with him in the ring for what I felt like was forever. And then just dumps him like a bag of potatoes. And I'm like, wow, okay. So yeah, that was actually pretty impressive. He's not just a guy who plays with his mustache and jumps on a ring like this.
Well, this is certainly not the first time I've seen Tyler Bate wrestle. In fact, I don't think it's the first time I've seen him wrestle as a singles.
Yeah.
I think he wrestled a singles match is what I saw while he was a part of Mustache Mountain.
Yeah.
But this is certainly the first time I have witnessed Wolfgang wrestle. Didn't even know about this guy until I saw the promo for this match last week.
He's out of Scotland, and he's legit. He's actually really, really good.
Well, for what little name value he had of himself, they were sure to name drop for him. They name dropped Jake the Snake Roberts as the guy that got him into wrestling.
And Drew McIntyre as the man who had a hand in training him, if not trained him.
So they built him up a little bit on commentary. And well-deserved. This was a great match. Back and forth through most of the match. Wolfgang looked great with these fucking power moves that were brilliant. Tyler Bate looked great getting out of some of these moves.
Yes.
And working it into something of his favor. Just his fearlessness. He went to do... He called. Of course, it's this corn exchange that the acoustics are so great. He calls out for a test of strength.
Yes.
He wants to test his
Who
bravery.
Who does that anymore?
Especially with a guy this size.
And naturally, Wolfgang looks like he's got Tyler down, and all of a sudden Tyler just looks at him and just starts pressing back up and has Wolfgang on one knee. The referee even is like, What just happened here? And it feels completely legit. It's like the referee's standing there watching this, and he looks as surprised as the rest of us. He's like, "Wow, that's some strength there." So
there was a lot of near falls where it looked like Tyler Bate should have been done.
Yes,
and he kicked out of. He looked about as resilient as Ligero. I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have closed my notes. But he looked about as resilient as Ligero looked in the opening match. This in the opening match, just this sealed the deal for me. These shows are so far very solidly good.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of wasted motion in these shows at all. Like the promos each mean something naturally. It's not a bunch of useless banter. You have solid wrestling and whole bunch of different styles. You have like the strong style. You've got your luchador type style. You've got just everything being hodgepodge together, and it's beautiful. And like we've already established, we love the venue. The venue looks awesome. The crowd is always on point.
Yeah.
Very respectful, but at the same time, if they don't like you as Zach Gibson found out tonight.
There's a lot of layers to the crowd, especially in that corn exchange, because the acoustics are such that one person can yell something out and the whole crowd hears them.
Yeah.
And we have seen instances, especially there was one last week where it was like there was somebody in the crowd that did like a joke, either said a joke or he said some punchline to something that somebody said, and had the whole crowd laughing because everybody could hear what he said. Unfortunately, I couldn't fucking make it either. I couldn't make out what he said, or I couldn't understand it because of the British dialect.
Yeah,
or his accent. Either way, but that's the crowd seems very together.
Yeah,
for most of these shows, and the match ends with Tyler Bate doing what he called
Tyler Driver, but it's also a Tiger Driver, more or less. But he calls it the Tyler Driver 97.
97. Was he born in 97? Is that what?
That's what I think it is, because like he was.
I feel old.
Oh yeah, but yeah, he's still like I think one of the youngest world champions that they've actually had in WWE history. Is like
as one of the tag team champions.
No.
Or the NXT check?
For when he was the world champ, or when he won the championship.
Oh, right, the UK championship. I'm sorry, I'm spacing here.
Yeah. All right. So, on the regular NXT program, we have my 5-star review. And on this one, until we find differently, or until somebody finally says you guys are stupid.
Fucking nobody said we were stupid on the last episode.
No, they had.
We had 500 plus views, and nobody said it was dumb.
And thank you all for tuning in.
We are going to go with the rating of 5 liters of tea. 5 liters out of a gallon, because 5 liters just about fits a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
And
how would you rate this main event? We'll go ahead and go with the main event this time, since it's actually a match, and a pretty solid one. So
it was a good. I mean, the whole show was good. I mean, we gave the third match crap, but honestly, it didn't need to be great, because the women's match was great. This match was great. The opening match was really fucking good.
Yeah.
So it's hard to look at this match as just itself.
Yes.
And give it as good of a rating as I would give the whole show, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the whole show overall was 4 stars or better.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think exactly what it was, because we're not rating the show. This match, as great as it was, it didn't really tell a story. And you know I'm big on stories.
Yes.
I try and find a story in every match. This was a showcase match for sure. Both guys look good. I didn't really follow any story in this match. It honestly didn't engage me as much as the women's match did. Or for that matter, the opening match. I was thinking about 4. I'm going to go with 3 3/4 stars.
I'm with you on that, because this match, as great as it was and well orchestrated and everything, it's not really leading into anything. It's not. It
doesn't seem, at least.
There's not going to be any like instant rematches. There wasn't any like build up. There wasn't anything into this match, and
well, there was a week's worth of anticipation, because they announced it last week. But
but something else that really got to me that we had not touched on is the fact, or actually we mildly touched on just in a conversation with me and you, was the fact that Tyler Bate and the other guy, Mustache Mountain,
Trent Seven,
yes, were in the ring just this last week talking about how there's no tag team division.
And then just 1 week later...
One week later, he's in a singles match.
Not only that, but Trent Seven didn't come out there with them. No. And maybe that's a babyface thing, where you don't want to have the extra... You don't want it to look like a 2-on-1. Yeah. Unless the other guy's got somebody in their corner.
I can buy into that too, but don't go out there and talk about how there's supposed to be this... How they want this crazy, awesome tag division... And then that next week come out there as a singles competitor.
Well, I mentioned that last week when they announced the match for this week.
Yeah.
So this match told no story that I could tell. Not even a short story of a single outing in the ring. It was just a showcase match to make them both look good and one of them to get the win. And I guess it makes Tyler Bate look good as one half of the maybe future NXT UK Tag Team Champions. But yeah,
there's a lot of maybes on the belts right now. It's like we didn't talk about this. Dakota Kai had a little bit of an interview at the end of her match.
I meant to mention that, and we didn't get to it.
She had mentioned like the idea of the women's title and whatnot, and like, okay, so we have a women's title that doesn't exist yet. We have a tag title that doesn't exist yet. And right now, all we have is the NXT UK belt, which is a pretty awesome belt anyway, and with an incredible
awesome
champion.
Champ,
yeah. So that appeases me just fine. But the fact that the whole match, it was just a regular, like you said, showcase match. So I give it about 3.5, if not just 3 1/4. Because I wanted something that's... I need a rivalry at this point. Granted, it's only been 2 episodes in, but I need something to start building between 2 people that's gonna not really necessarily carry the show, but at least move
it forward.
Yeah, move it forward. Because right now, we're seeing these people all thrown at us at the same time, and nobody's really sticking out to me. Just
well, so far I'm okay with it because they're introducing these people to us.
Yeah, that's what.
But going forward, maybe past the third or fourth week, hopefully we finally see some storylines that start going from show to show. Yeah. Even if it's, every 2 weeks, we'll see that storyline. Kind of like daytime soap operas.
Yeah.
You don't always see the same storylines every episode. So what's your rating?
I give it about 3.25, if not 3.5 liters.
So mine was a little high. I thought, well, yeah, that it is what it is.
Yeah.
So you can follow me on Twitter. Just go to nodq.com/Stefan. That's STEFAN. Or if you just want to open your Twitter app and find me, it's at Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. And you can also find me on my YouTube channel if you want to get these videos a couple hours early. That's Aftermatch Wrestling. Aftermatch is all one word. You can find... He doesn't have a Twitter yet, and I'm still hoping you guys will help me with the comments, trying to get him a Twitter handle so he can have a wrestling...
your Twitter.
It's a way to talk to people where people don't have to go watch the video and then post in the comments and hope we go back and look at the comments. They can actually they can tag you in a tweet and hopefully you respond.
You suck. Get off the camera. Okay.
I have like just over 100 Twitter followers. So like if you tag me in a post or message me or something, I will likely respond. Especially if you want to talk to me about wrestling, because that's why I do this. I like to talk to him about wrestling. I want to talk to you guys about wrestling. And I want to remind everybody that the goal of NXT Party is eventually to make this an actual party. 3 people.
More interactive, yes.
Yeah, we want to have you guys, the No DQ Galaxy, to come onto the show if you want to talk NXT with us. All we require is that you watch NXT UK and then just Skype us. I know it's going to be late. And that's fine. We can work it out if you need to work out a better schedule.
Well, as I say, we'll work something out.
But until then, I am the Wizard of No DQ, Stefan Osborne, as always joined by the General, Jerry Slaughter. And thank you guys for watching. And until next week, come have a cup of NXT with us.